7 vitamins wield the power to fortify your legs. But what if you neglect them? Picture this: every morning, you wake and your legs betray you. Heavy, weak, trembling with pain, cramps spasm in the night, your balance slipping away, and with it, your freedom. The edge you once felt in movement, stolen by shadows that creep quietly into your muscles and bones. Most assume it's fate, but the real danger hides in nutrition. Miss these crucial nutrients, and you might realize too late how quickly strength vanishes. Today, we dig up the 7 most vital vitamins and minerals to keep your legs from succumbing to weakness and decay. These nutrients are more than just a recipe for health. They're lifelines, anchoring your muscles, bones, and circulation to stability before age or neglect closes in. Want to evade the nightmare of falling, stumbling, or feeling captive in your own body? Whether you're hooked on nightly walks, dancing under dim lights, or simply want control over your own steps, there's no escape from the truth. Without these vitamins, the descent is inevitable. If you're watching, do you feel the chill yet? Let me know where you're from and whisper your questions below. If you dare, subscribe and keep your notifications sharp. Health 365 will take you through if you can handle what's lurking on the other side of neglect. Let's start with vitamin D. Time drags us all down, muscles shrinking, bones frail and brittle as old wood, movements slowing until even a single step can fill you with dread. Deficiency in vitamin D isn't just a minor oversight. It's an invisible poison that seeps in and undermines your legs at their core. Ignore it, and you risk surrendering strength, balance, and independence, piece by piece, day by day. Let's descend into the shadowed truth behind vitamin D and its chilling grip on leg strength in the elderly. As the years crawl forward, aging skin slowly loses its ability to harvest vitamin D from the pale, dying light of the sun. Even worse, the elderly often find themselves trapped indoors by frailty, by fear, or by the slow suffocation of isolation, rarely crossing the threshold to feel daylight on their skin. This vitamin deficiency creeps in with quiet malice, draining muscle strength, leaving legs shrunken and unstable, easy victims to the lurking threat of a fall. The evidence is unrelenting. Low vitamin D haunts the muscles, breeding weakness and setting the stage for a parade of falls and fractures. Data published in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism serves as a stark warning. Those who keep up their vitamin D wield stronger muscles, steadier balance, and a fighting chance against the constant threat of injury. On the other side, looms the void. Deficiency accelerates muscle decay, turning simple movements like climbing stairs or rising from a chair into near impossible ordeals. But this isn't just about bones crumbling to dust. Vitamin D propels muscle function itself, fueling the very fibers that keep us upright and in one piece. It sustains fast twitch muscles, protectors of balance and speed. When the supply dims, these muscles flicker and fail, and the darkness of instability sets in. Without enough vitamin D, every day becomes fraught with the nagging possibility of collapse. These specialized muscle fibers are what allow the legs to react quickly when someone loses their balance, offering a last line of defense against falls. But when vitamin D is lacking, those fibers begin to wither, reaction times become sluggish, muscles grow weaker, and injuries start to loom larger. Vitamin D also plays a quiet, protective role in easing inflammation within muscle tissue, relieving a portion of the persistent pain and stiffness that burdens so many older adults. Yet, for those grappling with cramps, stiffness, or unexplained leg pain, the answer might be heartbreakingly simple: a chronic shortage of vitamin D. Too often, this deficiency goes unchecked, quietly sapping the legs of strength, dangerous pathway to brittle bones, fractures, and even greater loss. When vitamin D falls short, calcium struggles to do its job, and bones can become shockingly fragile. A slight misstep, once harmless, now risks devastating consequences and a rapid loss of independence. And it doesn't end with bones and muscles. A chronic lack of vitamin D has been tied to greater threats: declining heart health, faltering memory, and a weakening immune system. Seniors left unprotected by this vital nutrient may find themselves trapped not just by failing legs, but also by a cascade of chronic illnesses, each one further chipping away at the life and independence they once knew. They're really a straightforward answer. Sadly, while the steps to maintain healthy vitamin D levels sound easy enough, the reality feels heavier. Here are some common recommendations. Though for many aging adults, they often come as reminders of things once taken for granted. A bit of sunlight, just 15 to 30 minutes in the morning or late afternoon, used to be effortless. but now it can feel like an achievement just to step outside. Sunscreen is needed for protection, yet it quietly blocks the very vitamins so many are missing. Trying to get enough vitamin D from food can feel discouraging since a diet of fatty fish, sardines, beans, fortified dairy, egg yolks, and mushrooms only goes so far. Sometimes appetites fade, tastes change, and meal routines become another challenge. Supplements might become part of daily life. For those who rarely go outside anymore, a vitamin D pill becomes a substitute for sunshine. Doctors start routinely testing levels, one more number to track, reflecting another risk that looms larger with each passing year. And then there's calcium, a nutrient that once built strong bones in youth, now a faint hope for slowing inevitable bone loss. Seniors especially feel that reality, bones thinning quietly, falls, and fractures becoming a constant source of worry. What used to be easy now requires vigilance, and often the sense of control slips away with each new pill or appointment. Leg injuries can take a devastating toll on older adults. Hip fractures, breaks in the femur, and stress fractures in the lower legs rank among the most life-altering setbacks they can face. A stumble that would have left someone unscathed in earlier years might now mean months in bed. Or the heartbreaking loss of mobility, as weakened bones, starved of calcium, fail to withstand even minor impacts. Yet calcium's absence does more than erode the strength of bones. With every unsure step or struggle to stand, its hand in muscle contraction becomes painfully clear. Each movement depends on calcium's presence. Without it, muscles lose the spark that lets them grip and hold steady. When deficiency sets in, muscles ache, twitch, and often refuse to do the simplest tasks, leaving many people shuffling through days marked by persistent cramps and flagging strength. Finding enough calcium isn't simple for everyone. While milk, yogurt, and cheese remain classic staples, not everyone can count on them. Some turn to leafy greens like bok choy and kale, almond tofu, sardines, or fortified plant milks to fill the gap. But for all the wholesome options, variety alone doesn't guarantee enough. Some face the disheartening reality that their bodies cannot absorb what they need, no matter how carefully they eat. In these cases, supplements, coupled with vitamin D, become not a choice but a necessity, holding out the hope that bones and muscles might retain their resilience a little longer. Lacing your daily meals with calcium might seem harmless, reassuring even to those hoping to keep their bones intact. But for some, food alone may never be enough, especially for bodies that resist absorption or for souls trapped by dietary limits. That's where calcium supplements slip in, silent, potent, often paired with vitamin D to unlock the gates of absorption. Yet, upping the dose is a gamble with shadows too much. And your arteries harden like tombstones, kidneys betray you with stones, and your belly twists in protest. The line between protection and peril is all too thin. For those aging in the looming dust, 12,200 mg. The recommended daily ration lurks as both promise and warning. Best source from foods when you can, with supplements only haunting the gaps necessity leaves behind. But intake is only the first step in this creeping dance. Move, or your bones remain hungry, stagnate, and all the calcium in the world cannot knit them strong. Weight-bearing exercise, walking, resistance work, jogging, drives calcium deep into the marrow, where it can fortify or be left to wander unwanted. A specter in your bloodstream, ignore your bones at your peril. Weakness creeps in with a vengeance, shackling motion, draining away your freedom and independence like the gradual dimming of a light. The life you remember, steady, confident, able, slips away, bone by brittle bone. And lurking behind all this is vitamin B12. Most forgettable yet essential. Its silent hand at play in your nerves and muscles, tying strength to life with invisible, unbreakable threads. It's what keeps nerves working, making sure every electrical signal traveling from the spine to the legs arrives clear and strong. When it's missing, the muscles lose their lifeline, signals become muddled, leading to weakness, unsteadiness, and, slowly, a fading sense of control over movement itself. Heavy, weary legs that never seem to wake up, joined by numbness or a persistent tingling, are common early warnings. What's troubling is just how frequent vitamin B12 deficiency is among older adults. Unlike other vitamins, easily stored or absorbed from many foods, B12 demands the body's digestive system work just right. Aging quietly chips away at stomach acid, and digestive disorders or years of antacid use make things even worse. Many people, without realizing it, eat less and less B12-rich food as time goes on. The result is a gradual, silent drain of something essential. The effects ripple far beyond tired muscles if B12 deficiency goes unchecked. The damage to nerves can become permanent, interfering with balance, coordination, and reflexes. For many seniors struggling with repeated falls, stiffness, or the frustration of legs that no longer obey, the real problem is unseen. It's the quiet loss of B12, slowly closing the door on movement they once took for granted. The slow loss of strength and energy often sneaks in so quietly that it's brushed aside as just another sign of getting older, even though, if caught in time, it doesn't have to happen at all. Restoring B12 levels can sometimes turn back the clock a little, bringing back the energy and movement that seemed gone for good. Research shows that older adults who overcome a B12 deficiency can regain a surprising amount of stamina, along with a steadier step and more reliable legs. Yet the vitamin itself feels almost out of reach for some. Unlike other nutrients, which can be gathered from all kinds of plants, vitamin B12 is found almost solely in foods like meat, fish, eggs, dairy, and especially shellfish such as clams and cuts like liver, the very things some people no longer eat, either by choice or necessity. For those unable to get B12 from food, there's a reliance on fortified cereals, synthetic supplements, or injections, an extra step that can serve as a reminder of what the body can no longer do on its own. Thankfully, any extra B12 will simply be flushed away, providing a safety net for those who have no choice but to rely on supplements. Even so, the process of monitoring and treating deficiency feels like a quiet admission that something important within is fading. Without attention, the slow decline in strength and motion goes on, unnoticed until it can no longer be ignored. The truth lurking beneath the surface: powerful legs aren't just a matter of brute strength. There's a far grimmer side: your nervous system's efficiency, the razor's edge of your reflexes, the silent choreography of coordination. You can train until your muscles scream, but if your nerves misfire, your legs will betray you. Yet hauntingly unheeded, vitamin B12 is a guardian at the gate, its absence quietly eroding mobility and hastening decline, especially as the years drag on. And then there's magnesium, a shadowy presence working tirelessly in the backdrop of every step, making sure each muscle contraction and release happens with eerie precision. Without it, your defenses crumble, legs twist with cruel cramps or restless spasms that haunt your nights, disrupting sleep, leaving you exhausted and ragged come morning. These aren't minor inconveniences, they're the early warnings of a deeper dysfunction, the body's desperate signal that its ability to soothe, suppress, and command muscles is slipping away. Yet magnesium's grim watch doesn't end there, too. It holds the silent power to keep bones and joints from faltering. While calcium basks in the light, magnesium toils in the shadows, absolutely necessary for keeping your skeleton from slowly succumbing to unseen frailty. Cast it aside, and even your bones may turn against you. This mineral supports the movement of calcium throughout the body, ensuring it's deposited in bones instead of accumulating in soft tissues, where it can cause joint discomfort and stiffness. Research shows that a higher magnesium intake correlates with stronger bones and a lower chance of fractures in older adults, highlighting its vital role in maintaining mobility. Magnesium deficiency is widespread, largely because stress, medications, and poor eating habits deplete it. Many seniors use medications like diuretics, proton pump inhibitors, and certain blood pressure medicines that further reduce magnesium stores. When combined with a diet that lacks magnesium-rich foods, this leads to a deficiency that undermines strength, endurance, and flexibility over time. This explains why so many older people notice a slow decline in their ability to walk, manage stairs, or recover after simple tasks. It's not just aging at play, but missing nutrients. Restoring healthy magnesium levels can quickly improve leg health by easing cramps, boosting energy, and making movement feel more natural. Leafy greens, nuts, seeds, whole grains, and legumes are excellent food sources of magnesium, with options like pumpkin seeds, almonds, spinach, black beans, and avocados providing particularly high amounts. For those who find it hard to meet their needs through diet alone, magnesium supplements can offer effective support. Beneath their wholesome surfaces, foods like spinach, pumpkin seeds, black beans, almonds, and avocados hold a secret: an abundance of magnesium, their veins coursing with the mineral that keeps bones from growing frail and muscles from seizing up in the night. But when diets fail to supply these reserves, people turn to magnesium supplements, often magnesium citrate or glycinate, desperate for relief. The change unleashed by restoring magnesium is nothing short of eerie. Limbs that once felt weighed down by unseen chains begin to move again, as if awakening from a cold paralysis. The weary sufferer who shuddered at the recurring nighttime assault of cramps suddenly finds peace, the constant stiffness dissolving, sleep no longer haunted by sharp pain. Coordination too is resurrected. The body's hidden wiring is rewoven, and for a time, movement becomes almost effortless, though the memory of what was lost lingers. As for potassium, imagine that first step from the sanctuary of sleep, and being seized with a cramp so vicious, it feels conjured by some malevolent force. Low potassium stalks quietly, draining strength, and sabotaging the very muscles needed for freedom. When potassium ebbs away, involuntary muscle contractions strike without warning, turning mobility into a nightly ordeal, especially for the frail or the aging. And muscle cramps are merely the beginning of potassium's curse. If your legs tremble when you stand, or if every walk becomes a battle against tightening and tension, you might sense the creeping hand of deficiency dragging you day by day toward weakness. Potassium quietly works behind the scenes, carrying messages between nerves and muscles, letting our limbs move with steadiness and purpose. But when potassium is in short supply, that connection begins to falter. Muscles in the legs may tremble, feel drained, or simply refuse to do what the brain asks. Lifting your feet can become a challenge where once it was effortless. With each step turning shaky, the real risk of a fall looms larger, especially for those whose bodies are already less forgiving with age. The truth is, every stumble becomes a little scarier, but it isn't only muscles that depend on potassium for resilience. Bones, too, are quietly shaped by its presence. When potassium levels dip, acids chip away at bone strength, gradually, almost invisibly. Without enough potassium in the diet, bones can thin, and the shadow of osteoporosis edges closer, making the legs feel even more vulnerable. There's still hope scattered throughout the kitchen. Nature has left traces of potassium in foods like spinach, oranges, beans, sweet potatoes, and of course the familiar banana. Even a humble baked potato, skin and all, quietly offers what's needed. But when meals fall short, supplements might seem like a last resort, a small attempt to fill the gap. In the end, potassium isn't just about keeping bodies moving, it's about holding on to a sense of safety and steadiness that, once gone, is so hard to reclaim. How much potassium do you actually need to keep your body functioning and avoid the silent dangers lurking beneath the surface? For adults, the daily recommendation is 2,600 mg for women and 3,400 mg for men, a target you might easily reach with a diet full of fruit, vegetables, and legumes. However, for those with lurking health conditions like kidney disease or persistent high blood pressure, potassium turns from friend to threat. If you fall into this group, you must watch every milligram and consult your doctor, lest you tip the balance toward disaster. Now let's turn to vitamin K. While most people focus on calcium and vitamin D for bone strength, they forget a darker truth without vitamin K. These nutrients can't protect you. Instead of helping, calcium could go rogue, sinking into your arteries and soft tissue, slowly stiffening you from the inside out and raising your risk of cardiovascular nightmares. Vitamin K stands as the last line of defense, guiding calcium where it belongs, into your bones, not your circulatory system. For older adults especially, the stakes are dire. Those with higher vitamin K levels avoid fractures and enjoy stronger bones, while the unwary risk brittle skeletons and creeping frailty. Vitamin K plays a quiet but crucial role in the body, activating osteocalcin, a protein responsible for binding calcium to our bones. This process helps build bone density and makes bones less fragile, less likely to break. But the reach of vitamin K goes further. It quietly supports joint and muscle health, roles that are too often forgotten. People may not realize that strong legs depend on more than just sturdy bones. Flexible joints and capable muscles are part of the picture too. Vitamin K can help reduce swelling in the joints, slowing the relentless progression of osteoarthritis, and sometimes easing the stubborn stiffness that creeps into knees with age. When knees grow sore from movement or feel tight after sitting, it's easy to wonder if something as simple as a nutrient could restore lost freedom. Sadly, balance problems, unsteady steps, and vulnerability to fall sometimes come with weakening muscles. New evidence hints that vitamin K might help aging muscles stay stronger and more coordinated by controlling calcium inside muscle cells and making sure they contract as they should. This, in turn, can bring some hope of steadiness to those who might otherwise fear instability. Yet for many, these foods, spinach, kale, Swiss chard, collard greens, Brussels sprouts, sit uneaten, and the benefits of vitamin K, typically found in plants, are missed. There's also vitamin K2, hidden in fermented foods like natto, aged cheeses, egg yolks, and liver, rarely found on most plates. In the end, the quiet importance of vitamin K often goes unnoticed, as aching joints and tired muscles silently bear the cost of what's missing. K2 stands out because it remains active in the body for a longer period and plays an even more significant role in guiding calcium into the bones, rather than depositing it in the arteries. If you want to naturally enhance your vitamin K levels, consuming more green vegetables and fermented foods can be effective. Even something as simple as adding kale to a daily smoothie or including sautéed spinach with a meal can have a noticeable impact. That said, for those who have trouble absorbing vitamin K from food, such as individuals with digestive issues or those taking long-term antibiotics, supplements might be considered, but should be approached with care. Anyone taking blood thinners like warfarin needs to speak with their healthcare provider before increasing vitamin K intake, since it influences blood clotting and could interact with these medications. Moving on to vitamin B6. This nutrient plays a much more important part in maintaining leg strength and muscle function than most people realize. While various nutrients contribute to mobility, B6 is necessary for nerve health, muscle repair, and making sure the body can properly use protein to maintain and build muscle mass. Without enough B6, even well-developed muscles can weaken over time, making activities like getting up from a chair more difficult. Deprived of it, even the mightiest muscles gradually wither, their power slipping away with every passing day. Soon, actions as trivial as rising from a chair or climbing a flight of stairs devolve into daunting trials, sapping strength with sinister efficiency. What many fail to realize is that vitamin B6 lies coiled beneath much of this decline, its sinister absence disturbing the flow of nerve signals across the body. With B6 in short supply, those electrical messages slow, or worse, drift astray, numbing flesh, tingling limbs unnaturally, and turning steady steps into uncertain staggers. Older adults often shrug off these symptoms, resigning themselves to the relentless march of age, never suspecting that it might merely be a silent nutritional deficiency eroding their control. B6's influence spreads further, deep into the body's defenses against inflammation, holding at bay the encroaching ache and stiffness that tighten legs and leach away ability. Without it, muscles become rigid and slow to recover, fatigue settling in with every attempt at movement. Far more insidiously, this overlooked vitamin is woven into the creation of red blood cells, the bearers of precious oxygen. If B6 fades from the body, oxygen-starved muscles grow quickly heavy, claws of exhaustion gripping ever tighter regardless of how little you move. The unsettling fatigue that drags you down after a quick stroll, the persistent weariness that lingers, these perhaps are not just signs of age, but desperate warnings pulsing from within, urging you to replenish what's been lost. Luckily, vitamin B6 lurks within many everyday foods, waiting for those who choose to reclaim their vitality before the shadows of deficiency deepen further. Chicken, fish like salmon and tuna, bananas, potatoes, chickpeas, and fortified cereals all provide plenty of vitamin B6. Including these foods regularly in your meals is a natural way to boost your B6 intake, which can help support healthy nerves and muscles. If you have trouble absorbing nutrients, struggle with digestive issues, or follow a restricted diet, you might need to consider B6 supplements to keep your levels up. The recommended daily amount differs depending on age and gender. For most older adults, women need about 150 mg each day, while men should aim for 1.7 mg. Getting B6 from food sources is generally safe, but taking high-dose supplements for a long time may cause nerve problems, so that should be done carefully. Focusing on a varied diet rich in B6 foods is the safest bet. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it. It helps us keep creating content you find useful. Leave a comment if you have questions or want to suggest a topic for a future video. We're always happy to hear from you. And of course, subscribe and turn on notifications.